All right, so in this third section, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into all of the different SATEP teacher preparation pathways that we have here in the College of Education. So starting with, again, going back to those undergraduate pathways. So if you do not have a bachelor's degree yet, then you're really looking at, well, you can get the full bachelor's, which is the 4-year program here at UH Manoa, or you can start at one of our community colleges, get your first 2 years done, and then transfer to do the bachelor's with us. And that will also get you your teaching license. So, what do you need in order to be eligible for this last 2 years of the bachelor's degree to become a licensed teacher? Basically, you're going to need to have about 55 credits done and all of your licensure prerequisite courses. So, those are the things that you need to get done in these first 2 years. Um, you need to meet the general UH Manoa general education core requirements. So, they'll say you need a writing course and you need a physical science course and you need all these general courses that you have to get done. So you'll need to have those done. You need to maintain a 2.75 GPA or higher. And at some point along the way, we need you to have some kind of experience. And we call it group leadership experience, but 40 hours of working with school-aged kids. And this can be volunteer, it can be a job. As long as you're working with groups of school-aged kids, then it will count. And so, common ones would be like, those summer programs, um, you know, at the church, they'll have like Sunday classes, or maybe you're a coach or you're, you know, swim coach, or you work at A plus, or you're just volunteering, right? So maybe you're volunteering for Special Olympics or anything that allows you to engage with school-aged groups of children. That can all count towards your 40 hours that you're going to need to be eligible for the program. Substituting counts, obviously, if you're working in a school, that'll count. And so you just want to make sure that you're accruing those hours within those first 2 years so that you're ready to be able to apply for the last 2 years of the licensure track. And going back to support, we're really fortunate that we have such strong partnerships with different organizations to help you with those first 2 years of college. And that would be all of our community colleges have partnerships with UH Manoa, and we have a special program called CAEA. And CAEA is the transfer program that really, if you know ahead of time that you're going to come to Manoa, then we have specialists and advisors who actually help you with all the applications and transferring and everything from the community college to Manoa. So take advantage of that. Um, Not only do we have like associate degree pathways at the different community colleges that you can take, UH Maui College currently has a grant where they're doing the whole Apili Teacher Pathway Project. Basically, they're helping people to bridge that gap of need in those first 2 years so that if they're offering a lot of our prerequisite courses for our programs for free. They're tuition-free courses. So for example, SPED 304 is a common one that most people have to take. If you take it through UH Maui College's Ho'opili pathway, then it will be tuition free. And they really have opened it up to everybody. So you don't only have to be on Maui in UH Maui College, but you do have to register through them to be able to take those free online courses. So definitely check them out and connect with them. And so all of these, when you get these slides, click on it to learn more. And so really they're looking at providing a lot of funding and tuition-free courses for meeting all of these prerequisites here, these licensure prerequisites like Math 111 and Math 112. There's also the Kalama Education Academy. They are amazing for providing like wraparound supports for those who identify as Native Hawaiian and are in Native Hawaiian communities. Not only do they provide some funding for tuition and getting courses out, but they really provide like other types of supports. Like they can support you with building a resume, finding a job, like all of these things. So they're really amazing. So you'll definitely want to check them out as well. So going back to all the different programs that we offer, I'm going to go over them now, but I'm going to break it up by the format that they're in, right? Because if you're on Oahu you can pick to do a face-to-face campus-based program, or you could do the online statewide type of program. Whereas if you're living on any of the neighbor islands, you're probably just going to look at those statewide ones. So I'm going to show you which programs we have based on the format that they're offered in. So let's start with the campus-based ones. So these are the ones where you have to be living on Oahu to be able to participate. So at the Bachelor's of Education in Elementary, we have the elementary option, we have the dual elementary and multilingual learners option, and we have the dual elementary and special education option. The Bachelor of Education in Secondary is all campus-based because you're taking an extra semester of your upper division courses in your particular subject on campus. And so, again, those are the different subject areas that we cover in the BED Secondary. And then the last campus-based one on Oahu that we offer is the Bachelor of Science in Health and PE. So if you're interested in that, you do have to be on Oahu to participate. For the statewide options, these are the ones that can be taken from any island. And so we do have a growing number of options available. So for the young kids, we have the early childhood. That's our newest program. That one is done in the statewide option, as well as our dual early childhood and early childhood special education program. Elementary will also offer a statewide option. So the elementary only offers both the campus-based and statewide. And then the last statewide option at that level is that dual elementary and Hawaiian language immersion. The last program at the undergraduate level that is statewide is our Bachelor of Education in Special Education. And that's one where you can actually choose to specialize in secondary for students with mild to moderate disabilities, or you could do the severe disabilities and autism track where you can choose any grade level, whether it's early childhood, elementary, or secondary for that population. So these are all of our undergrad options. So if you do not yet have a bachelor's degree, you're likely going to pick from one of these. So how do you get started? Because it's kind of tricky navigating all the prerequisites and making sure you get those first 2 years done and that you have all the courses that you need. And so we have a whole designated team just to help out with that kind of thing. And so they are in our Office of Student Academic Services, otherwise known as OSAS. And what's great is there's a whole team of them. So, if you do not yet have a bachelor's degree and you're getting started, whether you have an associate's and you're thinking of transferring or you're just getting started with college coursework, these are the people that you want to go to. So we have their phone number, their email. I would recommend the best thing you can do is go to their advising website right here. And they have a lot of options for you to meet with them and then even an appointment link. And then for those of you who are living on a neighboring island, we have a specialized advisor who specializes in supporting anyone who wants to be a teacher and in education who lives on our neighboring islands. And so her name is Courtney Simoto. And so you can reach out to her directly. She also has a website and an appointment link where you can meet with her online to discuss. And what's great about the academic advising office is they are able to look at your transcripts and give you advice and help you pick out the classes according to which program you're going to do. And so I highly recommend anybody who's doing, especially one of our bachelor programs, to always meet with our academic advisors first and to continue meeting with them every semester so that you can make sure that you're meeting all of those requirements that you need. Now, what about for those of you who already have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or a doctoral degree? So really, most people are going to be choosing between the Master of Education in Teaching or the post-baccalaureate certificate. So if that's the case, the eligibility is a lot simpler at this point. You just need that bachelor's degree or higher from a recognized institution. Recognized institution means it needs to be regionally accredited and that UH Manoa will accept it as an accredited institution. Okay, so as long as you've gone to an accredited institution, it's fine. And then the post-bac minimum GPA is a 2.75, whereas because the Master's of Education in Teaching is in graduate division, their minimum GPA requirement is a 3.0. And you do need to meet your content knowledge. Now, in the bachelor's degree, you have like 2 to 4 years to take classes, but these ones are 18 months to 2 years. So because we are not going to be able to give you courses on your subject, you need to be able to demonstrate that you already know your subject, and our goal is to teach you how to teach it. So for example, if you wanted to be a science teacher, we're not going to be able to give you like 5 science classes. We're going to give you a class on how to teach science, but you need to know science already. And so the way I'll kind of show you the different options you have for meeting your content knowledge, but just know that that's why there is a content knowledge requirement. You have to be able to demonstrate that you actually know what you plan to teach. And just keep in mind that no matter what program you end up pursuing, you do have to do some kind of interview. The interview formats will be different depending on the program, but there's always an interview component. And there will also be a written essay that you need to submit. Okay, so only a couple programs do require one prerequisite course, and that is SPED 304, which is an introduction to special education. If you're going to do the post-bac in elementary or special education, then you will need to take that course, as well as if you're going to pursue the dual special education option in the Master of Education in Teaching. So you'll want to check out their websites for more specific details. Just know that those pathways are the only ones that do have a prerequisite course in it. But keep in mind that the Ho'opili project at UH Maui College does offer that SPED 304 for free. So you can register and take it through them if possible. So let's talk a little bit more about this content knowledge requirement. So this again is only for those going for a post-bac or MEDT. It does not apply to the bachelor's degree. They have other requirements. They'll meet their content knowledge as well, but it's usually through the coursework. Okay. But for those who are doing post-bac or master's, just know that if you are looking to become a licensed elementary teacher, the way that you meet content knowledge is because an elementary teacher teaches a little bit of everything, you need to have 9 credits in each of the 4 main subjects, which would be your language arts, your math, science, and social studies. Now, because there's likely going to be a course in the program on each of these things for how to teach it, as long as you can come in with 2 courses for each, you'll usually be okay. Just know that you cannot go into student teaching and you cannot get licensed without meeting your content knowledge. So you're just going to want to check as early as possible through your transcripts to see how many courses do you have in language arts, how many courses do you have in math, how many do you have science, how many do you have in social studies, and your goal is to at least hit 2 in each. For those who want to be secondary teachers, it's different because now you're focusing and specializing in a specific subject. And so the way that you can meet content knowledge at the secondary level is if it's your major, right? If you actually majored in it, and if you have at least 30 credits in that subject, with at least half of them being upper division. And upper division just means like 300 level or above. And so if you have those credits, then you can use that as your content knowledge and you're good to go. So if it's your major, great. You can just use your major and meet your content knowledge. But I will say a large majority of people who end up pursuing secondary did not major in what they are actually wanting to teach, and that's okay. So the fallback plan for all of this, whether you're pursuing elementary or secondary, if you do not have the credits, then as long as you can pass the Praxis content knowledge exam in the area you're trying to get licensed in, then that will work. And so you would need to do that instead. And so just keep in mind that if you already know now there's no way you're going to be able to meet that content knowledge, then go ahead and start looking up the practice exam for the subject area that you're interested in teaching so that you can start studying up on it, and then you'll want to pass that before starting the program. Okay, and if you have any questions about that, please let us know. I will say that special education, they actually will be teaching you special education in the program. And so therefore, that is the content area that you do not need to meet content knowledge for ahead of time, that you would be doing it after you've taken your courses in the program instead. So people just have to take it before they go into student teaching if they're going to pursue a special education licensure program at the post-bac or MEDT level. Okay, so going back to our programs, Again, same thing. We're going to start with our campus-based ones, so the ones that do require that you live on Oahu. So for our campus-based, you'll see that at the post-baccalaureate certificate level, the only options we have would be the health and the PE and the music. And I will just say that these two programs are actually designed very differently from the other ones. They're on campus. They're actually usually 2 years in length. And they're probably not cohorted and things of that nature. And so if you are interested in health and PE music, my biggest recommendation is to reach out to the program coordinator directly and learn more about those specific programs. For the master's degree, there is a campus-based, like face-to-face opportunity for those who are getting licensed in elementary or secondary. But what you'll find is that almost all the programs at this level for people who already have a bachelor's degree or higher is going to be offered in that statewide format. And so here you can see that our elementary post-bac, our secondary post-bac, our special education post-bac are all statewide programs online, and you can see all the different areas that you can actually get licensed in at the secondary level. At the master's degree level, the two dual licensure options have to be done in the statewide format only, but you can see that elementary and secondary actually will be offered in either one. So if you're pursuing to get licensed in elementary only or secondary only at the Master of Education and Teaching program, you can actually choose if you'd prefer to do some in person or if you want the statewide online option. Our newest program that just got approved a couple months ago is our newest Master of Counseling and School Counseling program. So that is to get you licensed as a school counselor, and it is also going to be in that statewide program option. So some things you'll notice now that I've gone through all the programs at the undergraduate and post-bac or graduate level is there are some things that we do not offer. One is career and technical ed. We currently do not have a licensure pathway for career and technical ed, otherwise known as CTE. CTE is where you're going to find your creative and media arts, people who are teaching business, health pathways, culinary, engineering, like all of those non-subject areas fall under CTE. And we are looking to design new pathways for CTE, but at this moment we do not have any. So you'll want to check back with us later. Another thing that you'll notice here is for those who already have a bachelor's degree, we currently do not have any early childhood options at the post-bac or master's degree level. The reason for that is early childhood used to not require a license back when it was pretty much exclusively in the private sector. But now that they're building all of these new preschools in the DOE schools, we're going to start needing early childhood licensed teachers. And so I'll just stay in touch with me, reach out to me if that is something you're interested in, because we are looking to design a pathway in the future for that, because we know that there is a need. But currently, unfortunately, we only have early childhood at the bachelor's degree level at this point. Okay, so let's look at what programs are admitting students now and for the upcoming fall. So currently, we are in our spring 2026 enrollment period. That is always between May 1st and October 1st of every year. And so if you're interested in our Bachelor of Ed in Secondary, our Bachelor of Science in Health and PE, or any of our post-bac certificates, between May and October is the time to apply for the following spring. And so currently we're in the spring 2026 cohort admission cycle. So you'll have until October 1st to get all your application materials in. And then for those of you who are looking at pretty much any of our degrees, the next opportunity is going to be for fall 2026. And applications are going to open on November 1st, and then they'll close March 1st the following year. And then you'll see that there's a lot of more programs that are accepting in the fall because these are all of our 2-year programs. And so we've done this on purpose. So for the most part, programs that are 2 years start in the fall because you'll do fall, spring, fall, spring, graduate in May, and be fully ready for the following school year. And then because the post-bac certificates are a semester shorter, they always start a semester later. So they start in the spring and they go spring, fall, spring, graduate at exactly the same time, and they're fully licensed and ready for the upcoming school year. So if that helps you remember which program is going to be offered, think of it, most of the degrees are in fall and the post-bac certificates are in spring. And so you'll see here at the Bachelor of Education for Elementary, the early childhood care and education, which is the newest pre-K to 3, is going to do an every other year. And so the fall 2026 is only going to offer the dual early childhood, which is early childhood and early childhood special education. And then the year after will just be the early childhood, and it'll keep going like that and rotating. But the rest of the programs are always going to be enrolling every year. So how do you get started? If it's time and you're like, okay, this is the time when, they're accepting applications for the program that I want, you start here. It's called Makale. That's our internal College of Education application portal. And so if you go to makale.coe.hawaii.edu, that's how you're going to start your application. Also keep in mind that every program is slightly different, right? And so you'll always want to refer back to the specific program website of the program that you're interested in. Not only will you get information about that program, but on the right side, underneath where the photo is, there's going to be a couple different sub pages that you can go to, and there's always going to be either an apply now or how to apply page. Please follow all the links and instructions on the how to apply page for the program you are interested in, because they are all going to be a little different. And so you want to make sure that you have the right information so it's going to the right place. Okay, so that was about our programs, and then the next video will be about tuition and funding.